Hi, so I'm going to show you how to create your Mondrian image, influenced image in Photoshop. So I went to open Photoshop and I said open, browse to find my sketch, and I opened it. So here it is. I am going to now look at the image size. So under image, image size, you can see that my image is a resolution of 72. The standard quality resolution is 300. And so, but that's 300 at 56 inches tall. I don't need it 56 inches tall. I'm going to change that to 11. And then it made the width smaller. So it kept the, it didn't distort the image. So I'm going to say okay. So it looks the same, but it's actually different size pixels right now. So now I've also opened my Mondrian painting and I am going to select it all and I'm going to go up to copy. And the reason why I'm going up and copying and not using command keys is because every time I do, it stops the recorder, which is driving me a little bit crazy. So now I am going to go up here and hit paste. So what you see here is that it says the source is an RGB. I open my sketch as a CMYK, which I prefer working in CMYK. So I'm going to say OK, and it's going to convert this image also to CMYK. So you can't have both RGB and CMYK in the same file, or same document. So you see here the background is a locked file. I'm going to just double click here and it opens up that layer, and now it can be a transparent layer as well. So I am going to click on the cross arrows here. I'm going to move this out of my way for a little bit. I'm using that for color reference. So the first thing I'm going to do are draw lines. So if I see the rectangle tool here, there's this little teeny tiny arrow there. That means that there's more tools in there if I click on this. So you see the holding down my mouse, I can go to the line tool. And I'm going to start by drawing my line. So I can draw a line that's not perfectly straight, but I'm going to hold down the shift key and then it constrains it. Okay, so my line right now is, the fill here is gray, but I want it to be black. So I'm going to come over here and get my eyedropper and I'm going to grab the black from here. So if I go to my fills now, my recently used colors, it's right there. So I can choose that, okay? And so I am going to draw my line. You see I've drawn it, it's too small. So I am going to make it thicker so you can see how thick it gets. So I have figured out that 40 in here is basically what I would like that to be. All right, so now I am going to go to the line tool again, and I am going to draw another line, holding down the shift key to constrain it. So you notice it remembered what I had done previously. So and I'm going to shift and draw a line across here, and another across here, and one here, and down. Okay. So I would finish drawing all those lines. And then what I'm going to do is start to fill them with boxes of color. So I go back to the same tool here and I'm going to the rectangle tool. I'm going to use this double arrow again here. I want that blue. So I get my eyedropper and I select that blue. Okay, so now I am going to grab my rectangle and I'm going to put my rectangle here, and it filled with the most recent color I've just put in here. So now I am going to go draw my rectangle again here, which I want to be yellow, but you see I need to go to the yellow that I've used. I had previously selected that. And now all of these are going to be white, but it's a special Mondrian white. So I can click over here and I'm going to grab this white. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to unclick this and put this on hold for just a moment. Interruption, I heard my daughter sneaking up outside the door. So what I accidentally did with that last goof up was I inadvertently went and picked the rectangular marquee instead of the rectangle tool. They look so similar. So I am going to draw this rectangle now, and it's filling in with the yellow, but I can just go and select it to go to that gray. So one thing I want to show you is as I've been working on this, every time I create a new rectangle, it goes and creates a new layer. But interestingly, the lines, when I created them in succession and didn't break it up, it created all the lines on one layer, okay? So I'm going to put this on hold and do the other side and then get you back here again. We have drawn the other side, and what I also done is I rearranged my layers. So you can go and drag layers in different order. And so what I did was I put all the lines on top and all the rectangles on the bottom so that the lines sit on top. So now what I want to do is, you notice this one line here isn't, it's not all the way down where I want it to be. So to adjust that, I hit Command T, Control T. Oops, sorry, I'm not on the right layer. I thought I was. So generally speaking, there's, yeah, there it is. Okay. What happens is when you click on an object, it's switched to the layer that that object is on, which is a handy thing. And that's a new feature within the last few years. So I clicked here, which brought me to this line. I'm going to move it back. So now I'm going to hit Command T, which allows me to then bring it down because I noticed it wasn't as long as the other lines. So now I've got that fixed. Okay, so I am going to save my file as the layered Photoshop file. So I go up to File and I say Save. I'm going to save it as, I'm going to give it a new name. It takes a little longer the first time you save things after you've opened the file. The next time I save, it should be quicker. So essentially what I'm going to do is save this as a PSD file that's a layered file. So you want to keep your native file so that you can always make edits to it. So I'm going to save this as a PSD Photoshop file. Man, it's taking a really long time. And then I'm going to save it as a flattened file. And when you save a file as a JPEG file, it automatically flattens the file. Oy vey. Okay, so here it says Mondrian Sketch PSD. So when you scroll down here, a Photoshop file is a PSD. Don't get it mixed up with PDF. PSD Photoshop. And so I can save that, and notice layers is clicked. So my other file that you see up here was a JPEG file, Mondrian Sketch. So now that it's saving that, And now I'm going to save as again. It should be much quicker this time. All right, so it's still doing its work in the background there. Okay, so let me try again. Save as. Okay, so now I am going to save it as a JPEG, but notice I already have this one called, or I have the other one somewhere called JPEG, so I'm going to say Mondrian stopped, but I hit some command key and it stopped, so I might have to redo this whole thing, but if not, I'm going to keep going. So I have saved the work that I did, and I saved it as a PSD file, and I also saved it as a JPEG file. The JPEG file is one layer. The PSD file is multiple layers. You want to save something as a PSD so that you can go back and modify it. And then but if I want to copy these images and put it into another file, I can't copy all these layers. So I want it to be a flattened file so that I can go back in here and grab what I need. So I am going to unlock that layer, and I'm going to grab this part right here, and I'm going to come up and copy it. And I have my swing set already here, and I'm going to paste it into this layer. Okay, so it has pasted it right here into the layer. You can't see it right now. It's huge right there. I am going to go back in here and grab the other one. And I'm going to copy and go back into my swing set image, and I'm going to go up and paste again. So I've got both of those images in here. So I'm going to look at this right now. I'm going to show you my swing set. So one of the things I'm going to do is modify, first of all, this swing set, because I want to make all of those bright blue columns, I want to make them black, and I might change some of the other colors too. So the thing I'm going to do right now is go up to Image, make sure I'm on the right layer, and I'm going to hit Adjust. Now there's lots of fun, cool things that you can do in here. So if I go to Hue and Saturation, for example, and we know what hue is, so these can switch all the different colors, right? But it doesn't give me black, because black is not a hue. Or I could change the saturation. So notice how it's dulling that down. And I can make it light or dark, but that's not working for me because it's changing the whole background. So I'm going to cancel that. That's not what I want. I'm going to go back in here under Adjustments, and I'm going to play with the color, the black and white. Okay, so the black and white is really cool. It's one thing you can do just to turn off all the colors. But you can adjust it. So watch what happens when I play with these sliders. So some of them, it doesn't make much of a difference, but the blues, this was mostly blue. So look at how it's gone and drastically changed all the blues that were in that original. So if there was magenta in there, this would be playing with that magenta, but it's changing the blues. So I can go in there and make this blue turn into a black, which is what I want to do. So I like that, so I'm going to say, okay. All right, and I'm going to stop this and come back again.